a loud noise and then somebody screamed, maybe not everybody would break their salah, but a couple of people would be required to break their salah, and we'll see what happens. Somebody would have slipped on the stairs, okay, whatever. Okay? In that situation, even if it's far, and you get the idea that there is something dangerous, some emergency has taken place, you break your namaz, you break your salah. Okay? So the second scenario is if it's fard and they are calling us, but we don't get the sense. And again, it has to do with just common sense. It has to do with your surroundings. Okay, you're at home, you're praying. You have other brothers and sisters at home. Your mom or your dad is asking you to go and get something. Okay, you're praying your fard salah. It's going to take you maybe another 5-10 more minutes. Okay. There's somebody else at home that can go and help your mother. There's somebody else at home that can, answer her. She doesn't know that you're praying, or she knows that you're praying, or she forgot that you're praying, or she doesn't know how many rakats you have left, right? But it's up to you and me to decide whether it's an emergency or not, whether it is urgent or not. Right? In the first scenario, there is some obvious indication. You and me understand there is an emergency and we have to break our salah. The second is if it's fard, and if we get the idea, it's not an emergency, it's not urgent, we can wait 5 minutes, we can wait 10 minutes, finish our fard, don't start your sunnah afterwards, just finish your fard and then go and see, yes, I was praying, what can I do, how can I help? Then do not break your namaz. Finish your fard, finish your however many rakats you have left, and do that. So that has to do with whether you determine there is some taklif, there is some difficulty. If it's nafil, okay? If it's nafil, okay, then it's the same ruling as fard. Okay? If it's nafil, then it's the same ruling as fard. Okay? In both cases, if you start a nafil salah, if you start a fard salah and then you break it, let's just say you pray 2 rakats of tahiyatul masjid or tahiyatul wudu at home, okay, or you're praying your sunnahs at home, and then you break your prayer because of an emergency, because of some type of serious situation. Okay? It could be life threatening or something like that. It cannot wait. In both cases, whether it's fard or whether it's sunnah nafil, you have to do qada, you have to make it up immediately. You have to repeat it. You cannot just break it and leave it. Because you started it and now you broke it on your own, you have to now make it up. So the same ruling applies for fard and the same ruling applies for nafil. So what we said about nafil is if it is nafil that you and me are praying, anything other than fard or wajib, okay, and there is some situation, some emergency, some shadid taklif, some serious difficulty, okay, then you break it. You go and help, you go and respond, and you go and answer your mother, you go and answer whoever's calling you. Okay? Then the next scenario is that if you are praying nafil, okay, and you realize that it's not an emergency. You're praying nafil and it's not an emergency. Okay? So now this ruling, this fourth category, breaks up a little bit further. Okay? If they know that you are praying and they're still calling you, and it's nafil for you, and it's not an emergency, you don't break your salah. I'll explain it one more time. If you are praying nafil, and it's not serious, but they are calling you. So if they already know that you are praying, but they forgot. You told them, I'm going to go pray my sunnah, I'm going to go pray my nawafil. And then they're calling you in that situation, okay? And you get the idea. Sometimes even then it could be an emergency. If it's emergency, you break it. But if it's not an emergency, okay, then you don't break it. You don't answer your call. But if you are praying sunnah and nawafil, and the person who is calling you does not know that you are praying your sunnah or nawafil, then you answer them. You break them. Does that make sense? I'll repeat it one more time, all 5 of them. If you are praying fard, and if it's emergency, you break your namaz. If we are praying fard and it's not an emergency, we don't break our salah. If it's nafil And if it's an emergency, we break our salah if they're calling us. And if it's nafal and it's not an emergency, then it depends. If they know that we are in namaz, we are in salah, if they already know that, then you don't break your salah. They're not supposed to be calling you, or they can wait. Okay? Right? And again, this is where it's not an emergency. Okay? Even if they know that you are in salah, but now something emergency happened, again, may Allah protect us. You know, something gets damaged, a loud noise. May Allah protect us, okay? You break your salah. Okay? They know that you are praying sunnah nawafil, and it's not an emergency, you do not answer. You do not break your salah. But if you are praying sunnah nawafil and they don't know that you are praying your sunnah nawafil, then you can answer that. It is permissible to answer that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Does anybody have any questions? Inshallah, hopefully this doesn't happen. Okay, but now we know if there is a situation. Next week, inshallah, we'll mention there are actually in the books of tafsir and in the books of hadith, altogether I was able to find 5 different narrations, 5 different reports of babies who spoke as babies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this miracle happen. So one is Isa bin Maryam. Second is the story of Jurayj. Okay, another one is in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Another one is in the story of Fir'aun and Bani Israel. And then one more, inshallah. I'll tell them just because it's related to this topic, not directly related to parents. And then after that, we'll continue. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all of us so much tawfiq to properly understand and to properly practice and to properly teach others. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. اللهم لك الحمد كما أنت أهله، اللهم لك الشكر كما أنت أهله، إنك أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.